So hey guys, this is my project submission for CS50 Python. So this is I've created an employee management system, and this is my README file. I've got a whole GitHub repo. My username is A316. Everybody wants to visit it. There's a release out. So essentially, what it does, it allows you to create, manage employees, and saves them in a CSV file. So you can create them, manage them, and perform operations with them. And I'll just show a demo in a second. Just quickly, I've got a requirements.txt file. I'll show it in my thingy readme here. Here it is, requirements.txt, and it's lots of packages with sub packages mostly. Readme files here, written in readme file, and this shows this, and it's the same thing in this GitHub. It's just easier to see. And so we pretty much use pretty table, tabulate, pandas, and request. Pretty tables for tables, tabulate again for tables. Tabulate and pretty tables used for different things. That's why there's two different ones. And pandas is for database management, so it's much easier than dict writer, dict reader, reader writer, import default CSV. That's why I've used it. And requests for the API. So I'll just show you what it does, and I'll get back to the API thing in a second. Create employees, it's self-explanatory. Edit employees, again self-explanatory. Log hours, so you can add hours. You can log, oh, this person added this many hours, and then update the hours. And then interest rate update, this is the thing the API is used for. So if I show you my API key in Opera, this is, I use Opera. So my API key has 50,000 requests. So if you want to use it, it's fine. If anybody does download this, and it's all open source, and you can use as you want. So the API key acts as the interest rate, and then pulls that, and then using that, you can update a person's pay to keep it according to the interest rate, and it'll automatically work that out for you. And so you don't need to do that. All you have to do is execute it, it'll work it out, update it in the CSV file, and then go back and show you the new pay. So all of that is all automated thanks to this interest rate function. And compare employees, so who's your best performing and worst performing employee, and best paid and lowest paid, etc., etc. Best performing employees here, H, and what that allows you to do is just see who is doing the most hours, so most overtime above their required hours. Give pay raise as a percentage. In pay raise, it gives you how much, what percentage they are. You give them a percentage and increase the pay by that. List employees shows all employees in the system. Delete employees, and exit is exit. Use the CSV files. My name is Jose. I'm the developer, and if you want to, you can help us recommend anything on. I've tried to bug test it. If there's anything, just please let me know on GitHub, and I'll try my best to maintain this, just because it's a cool project. So if you go back to this README file, we've already seen this, and this requirements test, and here's my test, and then here's like an example CSV file, what it would look like. So these are the headers: employee, hours, pay, position, hours required, last run. Now last run is not listed anywhere because it automatically figures out from the date time module, and it's to show how long it's been, so I can calculate interest, how many hours have been required per week, because you put per week hours, so you can multiply and work that out by itself. So, and then the rest is hours, pay, position, and where it's required. So if, and each hours run, and this is just this. So if we now go through our file a little bit, all the projects, all the thingies I'm using, libraries. So it has one big class, user. So it's a parent class, and in it we have a smaller class, subclass, employee, who now has these things. So it has no initialization function because there's nothing you need to do on it in initialization. It's just got a bunch of function it can execute on itself, and it has its properties. If we go, so it has the create function, it has the edit function, it has the edit function is pretty long, log function, interest rate function, compare one, and pay raise, and delete, and then back, and list. And then hours reset is for figuring out here the last run in the thing, and then working out the difference. And that's all the datetime stuff is in here. So when we init, it creates a self.name user.csv. So it figures out what the CSV file is for the user, because it's based on the username. That's what the CSV file is. Works it out, and then directs to the correct function. Here we have main creates a table, get to create table function, and then user.username, that passes that to the class, and then user.employee, the hours resets, it resets the hours when you run main, and then user.input user. So it just takes the input, passes it to the class, and then these 200 codes, if you see that, that's just to test functions, just to make sure everything's working okay within it. You won't ever see this as a user because it's all just written, and it's got extra functions to manage it. They aren't run on main, but my test project Pi uses that. Create table creates using pretty table and prints it itself. I know ideally should return, but this is easier, and it prints different table depending on what scenario you're using. And then onboarding is when you create the thing for the first time, this will run. So it'll create your CSV files, etc., etc. If I just end this here and then create a terminal, I'll show you. So we'll log into demo. So if I do Python project.py and then demo, so because there's a file called demo.csv, the username is going to be demo. So it opens up the demo files, loaded it, and now you can do all these functions on it. So I just show lists on employees. It just shows it's 2 employees test. You can have duplicate names because there's no reason not to be allowed because they can have different values. So if we get back to your video, sorry, it's a brief blip. See, it opens up this and then it redirects back to main, runs main again. So once you've reviewed, you can do it again with a different username if you want. Keep it demo for now. So if we just look, so for example, we can edit someone. So if you go into E and we can edit test and then also capitalize and stuff. We just edit the number of hours he needs to work. And you see test is worked 0 hours and it's want to pick this test. It'll pick the most recent one. If you have the same name, we can just put, let's say he's worked 10 hours now. If we do this and then we can put test in again. So you do need to enter in play even if you want to go back either. If we go back and then now we can put in demo again and we can put O and you can see that now look, test has worked 10 hours, it's worked, and it just updates here in the CSV file demo.csv and it's updated this hours to 10 and pay is 11 and that's just default. So that's how this program works, and there's lots of different functions. So deleting, listing, I've shown that. Pay raise, it's all a bit boring. It's all just much printing. So I'm not going to show most of them. I'm just going to change it. Interest rate, again, there's like, I've only run it today, so there's not going to be much interest rate different. And then logs a certain amount of hours, just adds the number of hours instead of you having to go and manually change it, and creates a new employee in the user account, just asks all the values and then list them. So this has been CS50P. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully you'll check out my GitHub broker. I'll try to put the link in the description of my YouTube video. And yeah, so thanks for watching. This has been CS50P, and thank you so much for this.